Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comic books, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
And this week's broadcast is brought to you by Mythicon. Mythicon is a convention mainly focusing on internet stars. It will be held at the Doubletree Resort near SeaWorld, Orlando, September 19th through the 21st.
The guest we are highlighting for this episode is Marianne Miller. Marianne did the voice of Leda, Tulo, and Leto in Dragon Age Warden's Fall. So someone like the Lazy Gaming guys, also a part of the Nerd Up Media Network, they're probably all over that.
For more information and to buy tickets, you can visit mythicconventions.com.
For any of the new listeners out there, the way we format the show is we start off with news, once again ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more, before we jump into our comic book pool list for the week.
We have a good amount of news this week, too. We're going to start off with some video game news. PS4 has announced a Dragon Quest Metallic Slime Edition.
Yeah, this edition is to mark the release of Dragon Quest Heroes, a hack-and-slash game releasing for the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4.
This will come out next spring in Japan, but this is a Japan-only release.
You can check pictures on Kotaku.com, but it is a PlayStation 4, completely a silver finish, with a bit of a watermark from the slime. The metallic slime is also included as part of a USB cover, so it has a bit of a three-dimensional look to it. If you like your system slick and you don't want anything popping out of it, you can remove this by simply pulling it out of the USB slot.
No way, it's totally cool. I would leave it. I'd be like, hello, slime. I'd probably even paint him a different color so he'd be a different color slime. That would be badass.
Paint him blue just like the slime is?
Ah, it'd be so cool. But this is a really nice looking system. I love that watermark on the top of the slime. But of course, Japan gets all the best things.
I don't blame Sony for not bringing it out here because, to be fair, it would not really sell that well. Like, even the Dragon Quest games, they sell pretty well, but not enough, like in Japan, where it would warrant an entire system release. It's kind of like when they released the Dragon Quest 3DS. I could not see that selling here.
They should release more Pokemon things. They should release a Pokemon PS4.
Just pay Nintendo to do it?
Yes. Would sell like hotcakes. They make a lot of money.
Another PlayStation 4 exclusive. This one will release on October 9th, the Glacier White PS4.
Awesome. This is a beautiful system. The US will also be receiving this same PS4, but it will be included in the Destiny bundle.
Yeah, that is coming up this Monday, same day as Destiny. My shop is completely pre-ordered out.
Oh, wow.
So it is going to be a very hard bundle to find.
Uh-oh, so I should stop telling people that they should get this bundle if they want Destiny.
You should tell people good luck.
Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck.
They might have more before the holidays.
Probably.
But we'll see. I'm still holding out for that 1 terabyte unit.
Right. This is also a very beautiful system as well, but with that white on the controller, to come with a white controller?
Comes with the white controller.
Wash your hands. Don't eat some popcorn and play this.
See, I initially thought that, and I put this up on Twitter. I've seen the controller up close. It's almost an off-white finish, almost like a silver. It's like a silver white. It's really, really nice. I don't see that controller yellowing.
Them some smart mofos.
Yeah, it's a beautiful white. I wish like all of them looked exactly like that. If it was a pure white, kind of like the 3DS came out, or even the previous PlayStation 3 controllers, I wouldn't say buy it. But when you actually look at it, you can go to any GameStop or any Target, and they have them on display. Really take a look. It is almost a silver look to it.
That's really smart, though. Somebody caught on. Somebody's like, let's make this white. And then the other person goes, let's make this off-white. Somebody with kids, probably.
Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. That's Bone.
Some more video game news. Actually, something that Dan picked up this week. Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright.
This came out on the 3DS as a physical release. So unlike the previous Phoenix Wright game, which was only digital, this one you can go out in stores and actually have a physical case with it. And you're, of course, able to trade in the game when you're done.
I played this, I watched you play it a little bit. I played it a little bit, too. But I love the puzzles in this. I haven't played a Professor Layton game, but I love the puzzles. I'm like, boom, boom, done. And you're like, Kelly, that's not right. Oh, who's right now? Solved a puzzle.
I'm terrible at puzzles. I'm bad at math.
But
this is totally a game for you.
I'm not the greatest. Oh, no, I am good at Phoenix Wright games, too. I'll just take the game. You don't have to play it anymore.
My personal review of it, since I did play it a little bit more than you did, I love the cutscenes. I do enjoy that they transferred over the same mechanics that they did from the previous Phoenix Wright, and they actually put on some full-on anime scenes that you can actually watch with full voice work, even more voice work than the Phoenix Wright game. And I love that. It makes it way more cinematic, and it helps me get familiar with the characters in Professor Layton. Did I like it more than the previous Phoenix Wright game? I did not.
Well, that's because there's puzzles in this one.
For someone like me who did not play both of the games, I only played the Phoenix Wright games up to this point. It's kind of like half of the game, I'm like, well, this is cool, but can we get back to the Phoenix Wright games? It's sort of like in the last Kingdom Hearts game on the 3DS.
You were going to call it Kingdom of Hearts.
Kingdom of Hearts. When it would jump into the Riku parts, and people would say, I want to go back to Sora.
Nah, I want to play
as
Riku.
Go back and forth. That's kind of how I am about this game. Can we just get to the Phoenix Wright parts? I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, let me just go back and finish the last Phoenix Wright instead.
Well, when you get to the Layton parts, I'll play them, because I'm good at those puzzles.
If I had to choose between the two games, I'd say go full-on Phoenix Wright. It is a better game, better puzzles. But if you do like the Professor Layton games, this is essentially half of a Professor Layton game plus Phoenix Wright.
You keep calling it half a game. Isn't it just a good mashup of the two games?
It's a little rough. I wouldn't say it's a smooth mashup. It kind of jumps between the two, and it's not smooth at all. But, you know, if you like both series, it's absolutely worth it. For someone like me who mainly likes Phoenix Wright, just get the full-on game that came out. Onto some Pokemon news. Japan has a white shiny Gengar Halloween event.
That's awesome.
The reason we're covering it is because we may possibly get it here in North America. The shiny Gengar will be distributed at various locations from September 13th through October 14th.
You've already bought your plane ticket. You're like, bye, Kelly. I'm going to get this Gengar.
I really want a shiny Gengar.
It is really cool. Gengar is a pretty cool Pokemon until he Mega Evolves, but...
Even then, he's white and shiny.
Yeah.
Japan is also getting a shiny Gengar Pokemon card that is exclusive to the Pokemon Center shops in Japan. For that one, you have to spend, I want to say, 1,500 yen, and then you can buy the shiny Gengar card. That I wish would definitely come here.
Mm-hmm. It won't.
No word yet on a North American distribution, but I do think that is going to be the next Wi-Fi giveaway.
And speaking of giveaways, we do have one for this show for the first listener who jumps on this. We have a code for either a Heracronite or a Pinsirite, depending on which game that you have.
Yeah, these are the Mega Stones that make your Pinsir or your Heracross evolve.
Just get the Pinsir one.
That is the better of the two. But depending on which version of Pokemon you have, that's the Pokemon that you are kind of stuck on. Pokemon Y gets the Pinsir, Pokemon X get Heracross. So here's the code. A4Z4-6WKHHPZWJR8G.
To the first person who gets that in, congratulations.
Continuing with our gaming news, in an open letter to the gaming community, hundreds of video game creators are done with the hate they receive regularly.
Good for them. Over 600 creators, which include employees from BioWare, Infinity Ward, Ubisoft, EA, and more, have signed this letter that reads as follows. We believe that everyone, no matter what gender, sexual orientation, ethnicity, or religion, has the right to play games, criticize games, and make games without getting harassed or threatened. It is the diversity of our community that allows games to flourish. If you see threats of violence or harm in comics on Steam, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, or Reddit, please take a moment to report them on the respective sites. If you see hateful, harassing speech, take a public stand against it, and make the gaming community a more enjoyable place to be in. Thank you.
So this is something that is very important for a lot of the developers. Gamers are very quick to get hateful and jump on the internet and start cussing up a storm when they see the slightest changes in their games. A big one is Call of Duty. Anytime there is a patch upgrade or an update in which someone's favorite gun gets changed because it is a little too overpowered, people go nuts because their KDR is the most important thing in the world to them. And when that changes due to an update, they freak out and they go after developers, and they'll even say shit like, I'll kill you. And it's to the point where it's almost not worth making games. They're doing the thing they love, and then to get harassed online. A lot of these developers have Twitter accounts, and they're personally getting attacked for these things. It's completely unacceptable. These are electronic toys. It does not require you to go and threaten someone's life.
I agree 100%. You know, I don't play a lot of games, so I don't see these comments, but you have told me some of them. You know, when something happens on Twitter, you love seeing those little Twitter fights. But there is some stuff that's just over the top. Like, these are people. You wouldn't walk up on the street and say this to somebody, or a McDonald's worker because they changed the menu. You don't have the right to yell at somebody like that.
Something I did want to point out is there is a difference between censorship and moderating personal attacks. You can discuss your difference of opinions without actually attacking someone. And that's where some people will try to make this argument, well, you're trying to cut off their freedom of speech. If people want to threaten someone's life, they're allowed to, and that's absolutely wrong. They are not. You can discuss what you hate about a game, what you dislike with the changes, without actually going after the person and saying, a lot of these people will actually hack their accounts, find the addresses, and throw them up on Reddit, and start, it goes insane. Like, it gets really bad.
Wow.
And thankfully some of these developers are taking a stand and saying, absolutely not.
Good.
We're not doing this.
Good.
You saw it with Dan Slott when he did Superior Spider-Man. We talked about it, that was about a year and a half ago. We said, it's comic books. Get over it. Peter Parker will be back.
Oh, and look, Peter Parker's back.
And Peter Parker's back.
Exactly. No, people, I don't want to say they have a lot of time on their hands, but that's what it feels like. Because it's, I've got nothing better to do, let me attack this person.
If that is a problem in their life, it's unbelievable. Like, if a video game change does that much to your life, that is truly a problem for someone in this country. It's unbelievable.
Go outside, ride a bicycle, fly a kite.
Well, not even that. Like, someone in another country is like, really? You're this upset over a change in your electronic toy? I might not live tomorrow because I won't find food today. That is a problem. Not your kill-to-death ratio or your change or this fucking video game sequel being shittier than the first one. Big deal. Don't buy it next time. Don't go after these people. We always say, vote with your dollar. Don't like it, don't buy it. It's that easy. But to personally go after these people that develop these games, and they are doing what they love, you don't do that. And I feel like that is something that is going to hopefully change for the better as you continue. I've retweeted something that Captain Redbeard put up. He said, why don't you go for a day going on the internet and talk to people how you would if you were in front of them in person. A lot of these people, like you mentioned earlier, would not say these things if they were standing face to face with someone.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can't think of anybody who would walk up to somebody and go, why would you do this shit? I'm gonna kill you. Like,
let me post your address right now
right,
on my phone.
Right. Exactly. That's just horrible. But this is great. I love that they point out that even if you see something like this, you can report it to the site and the site will take action. It can be all of us involved in this, not just the person who's being harassed.
On to something a little more positive. The Hullabaloo Indiegogo campaign did go up, and it did reach its goal. It exceeded it.
Yay! It's a great campaign, so I don't see why it wouldn't have.
The Hullabaloo campaign is a short film that is being made by old Disney animators. These are animators that worked on Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, a lot of the classic movies that we grew up with. They no longer work for Disney, so instead they are, if you see the video on Indiegogo, I put up a link on Facebook and on Twitter. 2D animation is a dying art, and they're trying to kind of revive that. What actually killed it is Toy Story. Toy Story years ago came out, it was a huge hit, and then Pixar started doing all of these 3D movies, other companies started doing that too.
But Toy Story and Monsters Inc. are so good!
They are, but let's have both. Let's do 2D animation and 3D.
Okay. But they tried to revive it with Princess and the Frog.
Yes, they did.
And it didn't do as well as some of the others.
Right. And that's why they ended up changing Tangled and actually the more recent Frozen. Those were their next two projects to try to revitalize the 2D animation for Disney. They were going to let Pixar handle the 3D stuff, and Disney Animation would do the 2D movies. When Princess and the Frog wasn't the success that they felt it should be, they completely reverted all of those and changed them into 3D animation. I think Frozen and Tangled would have done just fine in 2D animation, and I think they would have been just as successful, actually.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think Frozen, we might have almost enjoyed it more if it was in 2D because it would have been gorgeous. It would have been a beautiful movie in 2D.
If people think that 2D animation is not something that the audience wants to see, they should check out this campaign, because at this point they are almost doubling what they put up. Within a day, they reached their goal and exceeded it. We contributed to the campaign. You can too. For $25, they'll actually send you a download of this movie. Right now, they reached the point where they'll actually make a second short for Hullabaloo. Basically, Hullabaloo is a steampunk adventure.
Yeah, it looks great. If you actually go to Indiegogo and watch the trailer for this, they show you little clips of what they've worked on so far, and it looks amazing. It looks like it's going to be a really great story. The animation, like you said, it's an art. It's beautiful. And then, of course, everybody loves steampunk, so something to cosplay as. It's really great.
So check it out on Indiegogo.com, type in Hullabaloo, or head on over to our Twitter page at ReasonsI'mBroke, or Facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke. You can find the link on there too.
Moving into some television news, we actually saw the finale for Legend of Korra this week. This is Book 3, Season 3, whatever they're calling it. We didn't talk a whole lot about this season because it really wasn't that good.
It was better than Book 2.
It was much better than Book 2, but I still had a lot of problems with it.
So if you want to head on over to Nick.com, or if you have Hulu, you can watch the season finale there. But we are going to share our thoughts on the entire show.
So, Book 3, I hope I'm not spoiling this for anybody. It's not that big of a spoiler. It opens with them having trouble with the spirits, which if you remember from last season, Korra opened it up so all the spirits and the people could live together. And then like 3 episodes in, you kind of forget they're spirits. Like, you just never see them again. At one point, you're like, it's a spirit. They're like, nah, that's not a spirit. It's just a giant-ass fish. I'm like, oh, okay.
What was unique about Book 3 is the antagonist is actually an evil airbender. Which, if you were to hear this coming up, you'd be like, holy shit, this is amazing. And it actually is. This evil airbender does things that haven't been done in years. And you do see some crazy shit in the final episode. Some stuff that you never thought airbenders would have done. It focuses a lot on trying to rebuild that nation. And that's actually what the Avatar does. She is there to hold peace and maintain balance between all the spirits and the nations.
Mm-hmm. There were some very great aspects. I loved the whole villain team that they put together. I thought they were some of the most interesting characters that I've seen so far in this series. We got to see Old Man Zuko being a badass.
Right.
Doing old
Finally
Zuko
saw Zuko
things. I was so excited. He probably took off for the Southern Water Tribe. One thing I did, and I will say this about every season we've seen so far, I don't feel like they connect well. I feel like each of them has their own story they're trying to tell, and they kind of forget about all the other stories. Like, for example, in this one, they mention about Korra and Mako, or Mako and Asami all being together, but they still kind of ignore it.
If you've been liking Legend of Korra so far, I would say watch Book 3. Book 1 and 2 were pretty entertaining. 2 was the weakest in my opinion. 1 is still the best, but Book 3 was still setting up more with what is actually coming with the final book and season number 4.
And that season will be releasing in January of next year.
Another review we're going to do for this episode is actually for Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. When under a lot of people's radar, it did come out.
I didn't even know it was coming out. You're just like, we're going to go see Sin City. I was like, oh, that's a movie? Never saw the first one, but I did really enjoy this sequel.
It did not do well in the box office. It didn't even crack the top 5. How does it stand up to the first one? I say it's right there with it. It is very dated, I will tell you that. A lot of what we saw in the first one is repeated here, and nothing is really taken further. It continues some of the stories, but as far as the filmmaking, the techniques, the special effects, I think it did have a lower budget, because some of those did not look as good as they did in Sin City 1. Sin City 1, I think, was in 2005 or 4, so it was a while ago, and even still. But some of the acting was stronger. I felt Ava Green was an amazing villain. And then Mickey Rourke, he's getting another paycheck.
Yes, Mickey Rourke was probably my favorite character in this. From the second he stepped on the screen, I was like, I like this guy, and I don't even know anything about him. But he was a very interesting character. I liked Robin's character, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It was a beautiful film. That was the thing I got the most. I just love seeing all the black and the white and the random red and the random color on a lady. Because, I don't know, they liked her or something, so she was in color.
Yeah, that's how the graphic novel was. If you go to any comic book shop, quickly flip through the novel, most of it is in black and white, but you will see some highlights for the eyes, the dresses, the hair especially. And they do the same thing here with Frank Miller and Robert Rodriguez actually directing. I don't think there'll be a Sin City 3 with how this is performing. If you have a chance to catch it out in theaters and you really like Sin City 1, I think there's a lot to like in the sequel. I'd even recommend absolutely renting it if you can. I do not regret watching it in the theaters or paying for it. But it is a little bit too late. I felt like if this had come out maybe 5 years ago, it would have done way better in the box office.
Mm-hmm. Some news that I have a little bit of mixed feelings on. Netflix has purchased exclusive streaming rights to Gotham before the series even premieres.
I think this is a good move for Netflix, but a bad move for us.
Agreed. So, just to give you a little bit of more information, Netflix is paying Warner Brothers $1.75 million per episode. Bold move there, Netflix.
Hulu is going, fuck! This deal isn't limited to just US streaming, but streaming in all of Netflix's territories. That includes the upcoming territories that they are actually opening up their business to.
That's awesome. So they are so excited, I'm sure, because who doesn't want more Batman?
Where's the bad news in all this?
Gotham will not be on Netflix until September 2015.
So if you're like us, in which we do occasionally miss an episode on TV, we just catch it on Hulu, that's not going to be the case here. If you don't have cable at all, which a lot of people are just going straight to Netflix and Hulu, you do have to wait until next year to catch it at all.
Oh, Netflix.
I don't know if Fox.com will have it. I'm sure they won't because of this deal. Regardless, we are very excited for Gotham. We're going to try our best to catch it wherever we can.
The series will be premiering September 22nd on Fox, so you've got about 2 weeks.
I'm really excited about it. The reviews from San Diego Comic-Con for the pilot were not very good. They were very mixed. But it is the pilot. I'm hoping the season kind of straightens out, kind of like Beware the Batman eventually did.
I love when we were reading our comic books, they have that spread page of all the characters, and I love going through them like, Selena and Bruce are gonna be together, and Cobblepot's got a big nose, and there's Gordon, he looks like a young man, he doesn't have a mustache.
And Bullock came straight out of the fucking comics. Great casting for Bullock. Gail Simone finally confirmed what me and several others were saying was going to be the secret project.
You and everyone, because secret was in quotations.
Gail Simone will be relaunching The Sinister Six with Ken Lashley in December.
This looks like it's going to be a really fun book. Anything Gail is on is wonderful. She could be writing the story of poop. And I would be like, this is amazing! She could write Joker's Daughter, and it would be amazing.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. This is Gail, Dan. What is greater, your hate for Joker's Daughter or your love for Gail Simone?
I do love Gail Simone.
Gail Simone can make Joker's Daughter amazing. Like the most interesting character you've ever read.
You know who'd make an even better Joker's Daughter? Paul Dini.
Well, but then she wouldn't be a strong female character. She'd be in her underwear and no shirt.
And flirting with Poison Ivy. And Harley Quinn would be in there immediately.
They would all be friends. And they'd probably, have pillow fights or something.
If Paul Dini relaunched the Gotham City Sirens with Joker's Daughter as part of the team, would you still buy it?
Mm-hmm. Because it's Paul Dini.
All right, then.
Don't tell me you wouldn't buy it.
Oh, yeah, of course I would.
Okay, then.
I am not going to deny that. So the Sinister Six will have the return of Catman. We are very excited. This launch is in December. Can't come soon enough.
So Warner Brothers, sneaky little people that they are, have started to register URLs for rumored DC films. Now, we don't know if this is, we're trying to throw you guys off. Here's these things because we have money to burn. Or it could be real, and hopefully it is, because these are some great titles. So their URLs include JusticeLeagueFilm.com, ShazamMovie.com, WonderWomanTheMovie.com, and AquamanMovie.com.
This gets us really excited. I think this is almost a confirmation for what is coming. And the fact that I saw ShazamMovie.com, that right there, that makes me so happy.
I want Warner Brothers to be like, we're just tricking you.
It could be. It could just be something to throw us off. But I think the most legitimate two out of all of these, aside from Justice League, are going to be Wonder Woman the movie, with the reaction on Wonder Woman being in it. People want her to have her own film. And then ShazamTheMovie.com.
Aquaman movie, I feel like that would be really difficult to do.
Everything's been pretty positive with Momoa as Aquaman, surprisingly. Now that people have kind of settled down and everything, I think it's doable. Depending on how he does his role in Batman v Superman.
I think it should be Godzilla featuring Aquaman. And then Godzilla takes off his head and it's Batman.
Can Aquaman control Godzilla?
No. Godzilla is the king of the monsters and he cannot be controlled.
But he comes from the ocean.
He comes from the prehistoric era.
The prehistoric ocean.
Well, Aquaman is not prehistoric.
Well, alright. If anything, Batman can control him.
Well, yeah.
Done.
Godzilla would just fall in love with Batman. And
Currently,
then he would end up in Batman's cave.
Yeah, as a statue, yeah. Currently, if you try to type in any of these URLs, they all direct to WarnerBrothers.com. I actually tried it, and it says, continue to WarnerBrothers.com or HarryPotter.com. And I'm like, why those two? Why not just WB?
Good for Harry Potter. He's trying to get back out there. Trying to be relevant again.
But that is not the only Shazam news we have.
Yeah, something that makes me super happy because it is exactly what I wanted. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has finally confirmed that he will play Black Adam.
So you got what you wanted.
Yep.
I still think he would have been a better Shazam than a Black Adam.
False.
I think he can play the little kid trapped in a superhero body really well. I said this a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if he can pull off the villain role like Black Adam, something like him. But either way, it's more of a let's wait and see. I'm not a casting director. I still think it's BS that he got to choose his role. Like I don't know if
he didn't get to choose his role.
That's what he said on Twitter. He's like, I couldn't decide between Shazam and Black Adam. I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
They didn't let him choose. They told him he was going to be Black Adam, and he goes, "But I kind of want to be Shazam." And they go, "Well, then you don't have to be anything." And then he's saying he can't decide, and then he's finally like, "Fine, I'll take a pay cut. Just keep me in this movie."
I still think it would be amazing if he actually played both, Black Adam and Shazam. They look very similar in the comics, aside from the ears. So I think they can sort of do something like that.
Skin color. One's a little darker.
I do like all the people that were like, he'd make the perfect Black Adam. You remember when they first said he was going to be someone? It was rumored at first, Jon Stewart.
No!
When he was first involved.
No!
And everyone said that he'd be the perfect Black Adam. Now that he is Black Adam, people are like, I don't know. I don't know if he can do it.
I said he'd be a great Black Adam, and I'm sticking with it.
You did say that, and you never changed your mind. Mm-hmm. Very true.
Good for me. Give me a medal.
Here's the Black Adam medal.
Well, thank you.
Before we move into our comic books, we do want to say that we have a new unboxing video on YouTube. This is for the Jay Lee Batman Black and White statue. Last week we were talking about uploading it. It is now up on YouTube. You can check it out. You can find the link to our YouTube page on nerdupmedia.com. It
is an absolutely beautiful statue. One of the best we say this about every black and white, but it is one of the best black and white statues that we've gotten. Definitely hop on over there and check it out.
Now we can move into our comic books for the week. For any longtime Brocat listeners, you know that we mainly pick up DC comic books. We like Batman the best, so we kind of tend to get everything that gravitates around it. But we do have an indie and a Marvel book.
Everyone likes Batman the best. Even Marvel people like Batman the best.
They do.
Be like, do you read DC or Marvel? They'll be like, Marvel and Batman. It's just how life works.
Don't deny it deep down. You like Batman. So the first one is Lumberjanes number 5, written by Grace Ellis and Noelle Stevenson, with art by Brooke Allen and colors by Marta Liho.
I'm still really loving this series. There's some strong female characters. But this is a whole lot of fun. There's mystery and there's friendship, and in this one there's nods to other movies, which was great. That was so much fun for me. They even tell you how to make friendship bracelets. I really wanted to try it.
Yeah, it started out really rocky for me as I was going through it, but then when we got to the conflict and finally the climax, that's when the book got really fun. When they just go crazy with the type of monsters and creatures that they encounter, that's where the fun is. And the fact that they included things like references to Jurassic Park and other movies.
Get with me or come with me if you want to live.
It just made it that much more fun. And I felt like the art has never been better. Up to this point, you can really see that Brooke Allen is really getting the characters down.
Yeah, absolutely. We get to see something funny about a hat, too. That cracked me up. I was like, good job, writer.
If you're looking to jump in on the series, a nice light book. It's called Lumberjanes. You can jump into number 5. It starts off a brand new arc here.
Next is our only Marvel book this week. It's She-Hulk number 8. This is written by Charles Soule, with art by Javier Pulido, and the colorist is Munsta Vicente.
She-Hulk number 8, a Marvel book, is my pick of the week.
Good job. That was not what I thought your pick of the week was, so you surprised me. You're still a mystery.
I am a mystery. I'm so happy still that Javier Pulido is back on this. The art is amazing on this. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but if you get a chance, flip through it. If you like Mike Allred, I think you'll like She-Hulk number 8. It's a great jumping on point. It is the trial of Steve Rogers. If you're following the Marvel books, you'll know that Captain America no longer has the super soldier serum, and age has caught up to him. What else has caught up to him? An old murder that he has been accused of.
Some cray-cray old man was like, he did it. I'm like, you're a cray-cray old man. Just stop.
Cap's like, I was frozen. No, you did it.
I was frozen today.
But there's an amazing twist at the end of the story. Some of you may see it coming as you read it, but I completely loved it. There was nothing bad about this book. The pacing is great. The art is great. The story really caught me. I love Captain America. I love old man Steve Rogers. If he stays like this for 100 years, I'd be fine with that too.
I love that the ladies still want him.
Yes.
Like, he's 90, and they're like, hi.
And then Bruce Wayne walks by, and they're like, oh, never mind. So I cannot recommend this book more. Great jumping on point. Get on it. She-Hulk.
Yep. Very great book. I approve with your pick of the week.
Next is Batman 66 Meets the Green Hornet, number 4 of 6. This is written by Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman, art by Ty Templeton, and colors by Tony Avina.
This is such a fun book. It definitely feels like you're watching the old TV show.
If you're a big Green Hornet fan, this continues to focus way more on that duo than it does on Batman and Robin like it did in the previous issue.
But it has that great Robin line that you love so much.
Yeah, it's a very cheesy line, but I love it. It fits in this book, and I'm going to go ahead and read it here. If there's any scathing to be done, you can bet we'll be the scathers, and you two will be the scathees. And Batman says, well put, Robin. Thank you, Batman.
I imagine him afterwards going,
Still somehow whining about it. But you can tell that Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman were, even that line, they were like, let's just put this in there. This is going to be hilarious.
You can tell they're having so much fun writing this book, and that's great because we're having fun reading the book.
Although we do take it a little bit less seriously for that, it's Batman 66. You gotta have fun with it.
Of course. Next is Detective Comics Futures End number 1. This is written by Brian Buccellato, with art by Scott Hepburn, Cliff Richards, and Fabrizio Fiorentino. And the colors are Brian Buccellato and Lee Loffridge.
Out of all the 3D covers, as the Brokettes know, I work at a comic book shop, I looked at the wall. The Detective Comics cover was the best one out of all of them this week. And I'll tell you why. Most of the covers, what they did is they limited themselves to the center rectangle of the cover. Whereas Detective Comics, both Batman and the Riddler actually expand past it, just like the villain covers from last year, September. And it actually works for this. Some of them, with the way they're drawn, you just don't get that 3D effect too well. You end up with an image that's half of what the transition is. But for this one, you can very clearly see Batman in one image with rain, and the Riddler in the other image. And again, that rain shifts just a little bit. It's a gorgeous cover. I normally don't like these, but I can't deny this is an amazing 3D cover.
I agree, it is. It's a beautiful cover. I love the backs of all of these too. With 3D Conan O'Brien. I just like to throw that out.
Last year it had Arkham Origins. I think this year's is better.
I think it's pretty awesome.
Super Conan O'Brien.
He is, what, the Flaming Sea? Is that what he was? Great.
With the marijuana leaf behind the sea.
His oven mitts.
If you guys haven't seen that, Bruce Timm helps Conan O'Brien design his own superhero based on him. And Bruce Timm sits there and draws out the Flaming Sea. It's on YouTube.
Fishnet
You'll
stockings.
Love it. You'll love it.
But this was a really cool book. If you guys don't know, Futures End skips from where we are, I guess, last month to 5 years in the future. This could be the future.
Right. As we said last week, we kind of hope that these Futures End books end up being better stories than the ones from Villains Month. We felt like maybe a quarter of them we enjoyed, like how they actually told the stories. Detective Comics wasn't really that serious. This could have just been a one-shot from Legends of the Dark Knight, to be honest. It did tie in Batman and the Riddler's conflict from Zero Year, and I thought that was a really nice callback. But as far as the story itself, it wasn't something that screamed to me like, oh, that's Future's End. This is totally something that got screwed up by all the events that are happening.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. The part that blew my mind was the reveal of who Calendar Man was.
Yes.
Because the second they started talking about that, I was like, wow! And I don't want to spoil it for anybody because if you remember from... It's been several episodes now.
About 2 issues back.
Mm-hmm. When I was talking about this, I was so passionate about it. And this is actually, I think, what made that my pick of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to spoil that for anybody. If you read it, you'll find out why. And it wasn't my pick of the week, but I did really enjoy this one.
Yeah, I'll definitely give lots of credit to Brian Buccellato for that. Because he did tie in everything that he's been doing in that first arc to this one book. And I don't see that too often with the others.
He went, I gotta stop what I'm doing to do this book.
Add another 0 to my paycheck and I'll do it. Thank you. Next on the list is Grayson, Future's End #1, written by Tom King and Tim Seeley, with art by Stephen Mooney, colors by Jeremy Cox.
Is this your pass of the week?
Pass of the week.
Oh man, this is my pick of the week. There's conflict on the reasons I'm broke. This is my pick of the week. Why is it your pass of the week?
My pass of the week is because I felt like we haven't yet connected enough with this character that Grayson connects with in this issue. Yet, if this issue had come out maybe a year later after we've established the world of Grayson, I would have cared more. But as far as the story that it's telling, I don't really care. Like, I understand the very ending with how it tied into Grayson and Batman, which I really liked. I liked when they explore the relationship between Bruce and Dick. But when they jump into this world of Grayson that we're not yet established into, I can't really love it.
Really? I liked all of it. I don't know, is that weird? There's like one part of it that I didn't like. It starts way far in the future, of course, 5 years in the future. And literally every page you turn, you're jumping back in time. And when you're reading the first page, it doesn't make sense. And each subsequent page that you go, it makes a little more sense. And you finally get to the end and it all comes around full circle. And actually, once I got to the end, I read backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And I read the whole story again because I liked it that much and I wanted to see. I saw where it ended, where their love ended. And I wanted to see where it began. And so even though we don't know a lot about this character, I felt like we learned a lot about her through this. And we got to see enough of their relationship to understand why they worked and why they ended up where they did.
See, to me, I felt like this would have worked better as a straightforward story. I felt the backwards storytelling was more of a gimmick than anything.
Well, then I like gimmicks, Dan. I really, really enjoyed this. I felt that Robin wasn't as whiny as he normally is, but he still was a little bit whiny. And then we find out he's really in love with Batman.
What do you mean?
Well, like the whole scene with Barbara, where she tells them why they won't work out because he's just looking for Batman to be with.
Gotcha.
And I said, good for you, Robin. At least you admit that to yourself.
All right, well.
for me, the duality too, because almost the same lines were used between Batman and the girl he ends up falling in love with. But there's just that one word that's different. And to see how, and like we said, this is a what if in 5 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine in the regular storyline, these two are never going to get together.
I agree.
This is, a what if they did go together. This is how Grayson's life would change. And as much as I liked them together, now going back in time and reading this storyline that we've got, I'm hoping they don't get together because of the outcome.
One thing I did like is that Batman reestablished why Robin wears such bright colors. Mm-hmm. And if people ever wonder, well, how come he wears dark colors and they're running around and Robin is going to be easily spotted, that's kind of the point. And it does answer that question in Grayson. Next
up is the one that I thought was going to be your pick of the week, Justice League number 33. This is written by Jeff Johns with art by Doug Menke, and colorist is Andrew Dahlhaus.
Very close to my pick of the week. I really enjoyed it. The Doom Patrol is still up and running.
Being
in
assholes.
Full conflict with the Justice League. Trying to control Power Ring. If you remember Forever Evil, Power Ring left their Earth 3 counterpart and then went into a New 52 character.
Well, yeah, because
But
Sinestro killed the Earth 3 Power Ring.
destroyed him.
He's like, I'm gonna chop off your arm. And he's like, oh, thanks, you saved me. He's like, I'm gonna chop up your whole body. Dead.
And I'm like, good job, Sinestro. You did it again. But this one, it's Power Ring out of control and Batman cleaning up the mess.
Batman was so sweet in this. If the entire book had been that Batman part, that would have been my pick. Because it was great.
I continue to love the outcome of Forever Evil. I feel like Lex is such an important part of the Justice League at this point. He provides great conflict in the team, and it's not more clear than in this Justice League issue. Batman and Lex butt heads, but at the same time, they can work together. They're smart guys. But you do see that struggle and the outcome that Batman will, in the end, outsmart Lex Luthor.
Absolutely. This issue was pretty much Batman saying, learn your place, I'm still the best.
Exactly.
And we clearly see at the end that Superman knows his place. Because he just listens to whatever Batman tells him.
I don't want him on our team. He's going to be on the team. Well, okay. He's on our team.
Sorry, guys, I tried.
You did not try at all. You just went with whatever Batman said. In his head, he's like, I think Batman won't want him on the team, but I'm not sure. Shows how much he knows Batman.
Nobody knows Batman except for Catwoman.
Alfred knows Batman.
Okay, and Alfred. And Catwoman, because they're in love.
The final book for the week is Teen Titans Return to the Treehouse, number 4 of 6. It's written by Art Baltazar and Franco, with art by Art Baltazar.
This one's actually my pass of the week.
Shame on you.
Shame on me. You didn't like Grayson. That was a great book.
This has Grayson in it too.
Well, I know, but okay, here's my thing about the Tiny's whatevers. It was the same with Superman Family Adventures. I can't really get into them. Like, yes, they're cute and they're fun and they're light stories, but my favorite kind of stories are the real hard-hitting ones that hit you right in the gut. And then you really feel for the characters. These guys, I'm like, ah, ha, ha, they're swimming, or ha, 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 he's a boat. But once I close that book, I'm not connected to those characters anymore. Like with Grayson, I'm like, oh, did he survive?
See, I like these books because DC they don't have those kind of fun, go-lucky books that, you know, you'll find in your indie titles, or even in some of your Marvel books. Justice League United is one of them. But the rest of them, since we follow a lot of Batman books, it is very, like you said, hard-hitting and dark. So I do always like the occasional Tiny Titans just to kind of finish my week off because I'm like, I'm going to go to sleep, but I don't want to think about the Calendar Man and Lex Luthor being a little shit. I want to think about, you know, just finish off light and enjoy my week, enjoy my comics. And I do like those others, but something like Tiny Titans, I can laugh and just relax. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again, I benefit way more because I've met Art and Franco. I know their inside jokes from their podcast, and you do get a lot of those in this comic.
Yeah, I see that, but after the third aw yeah in this book, I'm like, okay, we get it, guys.
But that's always what they do.
I know, but I get it. You're aw yeah comics. I get it. You don't have to say, oh yeah, Teen Titans. Oh yeah, a treehouse. Oh yeah, a bat sub. Like, I fucking get it, guys.
All right.
I'm glad that you enjoyed these so much, and I think a lot of people do, and I think for children who are reading comic books, this is awesome. But for me, it's just a little bit too light. If I want something light, I'll watch Sailor Moon.
But that will do it for our comics and the podcast for this week. My pick of the week, to summarize, was She-Hulk number 8.
My pick of the week was Grayson Futures End number 1.
And my pass of the week was Grayson Futures End number 1.
You mean your pick of the week?
Nope.
And my pass of the week was Tiny Titans Return to the Treehouse number 4 of 6.
We want to thank all the Brokettes out there for listening. We hope you enjoyed the unboxing if you got a chance to check that out. But mainly for following us on Twitter and Facebook and interacting with us. It's good to know that you're enjoying the show and really liking the stuff we post as well.
And if you guys have any questions or comments, you can go ahead and leave them on our Twitter or Facebook. On Twitter, you can just put @ReasonsI'mBroke, and we will definitely read it on the next podcast. We'd love to hear from you guys and answer any questions that you have.
Yeah, questions, comments, whatever. If you leave a review on iTunes or Stitcher, we will read it on the show. To find the link to all these places, you can just head on over to nerdupmedia.com.
Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
We'll see you next week.